The Brahmin character is basically the climatic part of the sequence. Our villains basically leave the tomb, and they know something else is going to happen. Lara, of course, is slightly oblivious to this. She's standing in front of this character, and he slowly comes to life behind her.
Obviously, it has to be pretty imposing, pretty scary, and definitely convincing that this thing is towering over Angelina.
Because it exists on set already, the look in that sense is already described.
What we needed to do was recreate the Brahmin from the set in CG, totally. So in order to do that, you need to go out onto set, take photographs, take textures, take measurements, and bring that all back for the guys to replicate it.
But it's quite complicated and sort of quite interesting from a 3D standpoint, because it's a character which starts off as a real object and has to sort of, because it's made out of stone, it breaks itself into a real character. So it's quite a challenge for us. Somehow we've got to get a transition where it actually breaks itself apart and we see the stone crumbling, and so it frees itself up enough to be able to move. We basically, by hand, have to go through and sketch out on the Brahmin guidelines where we need to break it. So the animators sort of play with the character for a while, try and work out which bits they need to be removed and which bits of stone need to be cracked so that it can actually achieve the movement that we need to get, and then we have to go for it and painstakingly chop it up into hundreds and hundreds of bits. And his face animates as well, so then we have to go into even more detail and break his face up into, give him enough pieces so they can actually move to make shapes and give expression. This is the first time he sort of fully stands, so at this point we've broken away enough of him to allow him to move, and he actually steps down from the podium and she realises that he is going to come after her. And from within all those cracks we're getting dust and bits of stone crumbling out all the time.
We did have the option of you know, putting dust gags, dust effects actually physically on the set that we would imply were basically being caused by the footfalls and the motion. But I opted to go for a post effect with that, a very complicated effects element shoot that we would use to layer on top of this character to make him look like he was really 25 tons of statue coming to life. We had loads of dust and rocks and bits and pieces falling off him, all shot real world, but added on top of the CG character. So as with the Stone Monkeys, we got a level of, I think, reality that you could do with CG, but funnily enough, we did have the option. And also I thought, if you can do something for real, do it for real. Try and imply that there was a 5,000-year-old intelligence within him, and we tried to get that across in these moves, and that there was a definite function in what he was doing. He was slowly stalking her, he was manoeuvring himself in this position to actually, get to her. And then when he uses this magical force to summon these swords, we thought that we're basically building up towards a climax where he ultimately throws the swords towards her.